Hello, you guys. I'm with the wonderful Wellness Warrior, Chris Youakim, and I am so excited to be here because Chris worked on my neck and my back a couple of days ago, and I've got some frequently asked questions about chiropractic work in general, and I have this opportunity to speak with Chris today, so it's always my pleasure to talk with you, Chris, and thank you so much for educating us on the importance of moving, especially now in these times of lockdown, but also just the work that you did on my spine last few days ago. I haven't had anything happen like that before, and I've had quite a bit of emotional movement. So can we talk a little bit about what's going on when you're adjusting people's backs? And
yeah, sure. I mean, the body is like a vat. It holds on to things. So you've got to remember, it's like the collective unconscious mind is held within the muscles, ligaments, and bones. And so when you go to a chiropractor and all of a sudden you're starting to work with the spine and move the vertebrae and release the tension, a lot of that is also a movement of energy that's usually stuck, and particularly around those areas of fight flight. You know, when we're in fight mode, we're ready to fight, so we're ready to punch someone, so all our neck muscles and shoulders and upper back are, you know, tight and tense. When we're in flight, we're ready to run, so lower back, legs, glutes are all ready to start running. Of course, the third option is to go into a freeze mode, so our body becomes rigid and stiff and tight, and you know, everybody's exposed to prolonged stress, and it's accumulative in nature. And then you go to someone like me, who's like a human panel beater, and all of a sudden we're just releasing things that have taken years and years to be blocked and stuck into the cellular structure of muscles, ligaments, and bones, and all of a sudden they're moving. And people often cry, they laugh hysterically, they like tears of happiness.
I cussed out loud.
That's right, you swore it.
Yeah.
And I encourage that. Usually I just swear. But often people call me Jesus or God.
Yes.
So I don't mind that either. But it's just a release of energy.
And can I just say, because it sounded a lot worse than it really is. It's not bad for you, or I mean, it doesn't even hurt. How would you describe because a lot of people, I'm sure, say, does it hurt? And it doesn't hurt. It just feels like it's a release.
Yeah.
And it's more shocking than hurt.
Yeah, if it's, you know, because that was your first time, which I couldn't believe all this time you've never experienced a chiropractic treatment. Sorry, I'm listening to the Kookaburra up there, having a little sing-along. The sound is just the release of gas. The joint is a capsule-sealed vacuum. So as you move the vertebrae and you get beyond a certain point, which we call the paraphysiological space, it literally sucks the gas, which is a nitrogen bubble, out of the fluid, which is the synovial fluid, into in the joint, and it makes a noise, just like when you open a champagne bottle. It has to pop. The only thing is the gases in the champagne bottle escape, whereas in the body they dissolve back into the fluid and stimulate the secretion of more of that fluid that nourishes and heals the joint and obviously lubricates the joint. Otherwise the joint gets a little bit scratchy and wears itself out.
And I know we're just going to keep this really quick, but because we had such an in-depth conversation when you were working on my back, and one of the things that I really took away from just being with you and talking with you, how important it is to be moving right now, and how moving is what's going to keep us young and healthy. And when we're in these times of lockdown, it's like a muscle. You kind of lose your will to want to work out. But can we talk a little bit about how important it is, especially now, to be working out, to be moving your muscles? And
yeah. Look, the clinic I run is called Chiro-flexion, and our motto here is health in motion, because I believe motion or movement is one of the main pillars of health. And simply put, a dead person doesn't move, a living one moves, and preferably a healthy living one moves in a variety of different directions, three-dimensionally, and with gentleness and with breath and with awareness, which is, you know, like doing yoga or tai chi or qigong or any form of martial art requires movement, awareness, and breath. So it's incredibly important, and particularly that we're all very sedentary kind of, with our lifestyle. It's very sedentary. Most people sit 9.5 to 10 hours a day. So it's pretty bad for our bodies not to move, because movement enhances the circulation of blood, lymph, the movement of energy. The nervous system needs movement. Basically, if you stop moving, you're telling your brain you're dying, literally. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if I put your elbow in a cast and leave it there for 3 months, you won't be able to straighten it, because your brain gets a message saying there's no movement in that elbow. So let's thicken the ligaments, calcify, and then they fuse together, creating basically a state of no function or no movement. Mm-hmm. So when you go to a chiropractor, the first thing we do is check to see where there's restriction. Sometimes we refer to those areas as subluxations or fixations, or just I call them a traffic jam. Like there's just no movement. It's created a traffic jam. And you know what happens when there's a traffic jam? Everything gets blocked up. Mm-hmm. So the energy is not flowing, and we need flow. The body needs to flow. The energy has to flow through the spine, and the only way for that to happen is for the spine, which is made of 24 vertebrae, to move in a way that allows that flow of energy. The nervous system, the blood, and everything else is coherent with that movement.
And the body also needs oxygen. Do you want to talk a little bit about how important oxygen is to our overall health and wellness?
Well, definitely. Again, going back to movement creates movement of circulation and blood, but the breath is again a form of movement. Your lungs are expanding and contracting, your diaphragm is moving. So we need oxygen. 90% of our fuel comes from oxygen, believe it or not, and 10% only from food and water. So our mitochondria, which are the cells in our muscles that generate energy, require oxygen. The brain, a small organ up here, needs 20% oxygen to operate efficiently. And so when you're feeling, like brain fog or tired, and you're yawning, yawning is a form of breathing in more oxygen in a way. And most people are not breathing enough, particularly again when you're not moving. You're sitting in front of a computer, you forget to breathe. So you're restricting the movement of your body. Excuse me.
It's okay. You're such a popular person. I won't take too much of your time. We can really talk forever, but you have touched upon two very important critical things that we need right now. We need oxygen and we need to move. And I think the more that you talk, the more that you remind me of just the simple things that we need to remind ourselves about. And yes.
Yeah, a lot of it is common sense, and sometimes we forget because we're all distracted by whatever's going on out there, and we forget the basic things, like movement, like breath, like awareness, like meditation, or just mindfulness. A good healthy diet, like those things are just basic. Breathing, drinking water, eating good food, exercise, sunshine, positive mental attitude, sleep, rest, etc., etc. So they're like pillars that are required. If you do anything over and above that, of course, that's also good. But if you haven't got those pillars in place, then you can't rely on supplements if your diet is not good, for example. And if you sit a lot, you need to move a lot. You need to somehow create a counterbalance. I've got this rule of 2 to 1. So if you're doing one bad thing to for your body, then do 2 good things. It's like always smash the scale in your favor. Do 3 good things. Do 10 good things. Don't let the scale tip against you, because you're already aging every day, and that's working against you just by default. So you've got to input something positive into your health and into your wellness. Otherwise, you're just going to spiral downwards, because there's no neutrality. You're not going to sit in neutral. You're either going forwards or you're going backwards. You're either going it's positive or negative. So,
well, there's one person that age hasn't affected, and that seems to be you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's all the oxygen and the hyperbaric chamber and the supplements.
No, you really are a good example of what you can do, what you can look at, like when you take care of yourself, when you just do the little things, the simple things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost 60 now, and most people, will argue with me when I tell them my age. Like, no, you're not 60. Or I'm like, yes, I am. Here's my license. Look at my date of birth. Like, what? You think I don't know when I'm born? But you know, if you do look after your health and you do look after your body, the body is a self-healing, self-regenerating, self-regulating organism. So you don't need to do too much. You just need to just stick to those basic rules and nourish it and do the right thing by it, and it knows what to do. The healer is in the body. You are the doctor. You are the medicine that your body needs. You just have to, you know, give it the right tools and the right nutrition, and variety is the key. Variety of movement, variety of mental stimulation, variety of nutritional foods and things like that, and your body will thrive. It's just like a garden.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for the simple reminders of this world. I really appreciate hearing you and all the wisdom that you have to share. So thanks for your words today.
No worries. Thanks again.
All right, you guys, I'm signing off. I'll see you soon. Bye
See
for
ya.
now.